What's the reality behind all that?
No, I'm glad you asked that and circled back because I definitely got a little sidetracked. But it's like selling a house, right? Who cares if there's 100 people at the open house if no one makes an offer,
Right.
right? But you have one good showing, that's way more important. So I look at my YouTube videos like quality over quantity, right? If I get some viewers who are actually looking to buy houses or sell a house in this area, that's what I'm looking for. So if 700 friends watch it who have no intention of moving, my numbers might be better, but what comes of those numbers
Right.
won't mean anything. So for me, it's definitely, I mean, everyone cares you don't want to do the work and have 0 people watch it, but it's definitely more of you don't have to have massive numbers. I think I'm up to like 600 and I think today was 664 or 663 subscribers. I don't have a ton. And if you look at video watches, most of them are not watched by subscribers. It's other people watching the video.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I've heard that the subscriber number really isn't what matters. It's the views.
and it's who's watching. So yeah. And I am not a big fan and maybe this will change because maybe I should be a bigger fan of this, but of the big hook, like the Raleigh is catching on fire, and then
Right.
you open it up and there's nothing about that's not happening. Personally, I get so frustrated with clickbait
Yeah.
and then you click on it and it's something else that to me discredits the person that I'm watching and annoys me. So I don't do that. Now, maybe if I did that a little bit more, that would be helpful actually,
Right.
but that's not my style. But maybe check back with me next year.
The 5 reasons why you don't want to move to Apex.
Exactly. Don't come here.
Hey, it's working for a lot of people.
It's true.
Yeah.
It does work. But I'm just very big on just really being me. And that drives me nuts. So that makes it hard for me to do it because it annoys me. So, but again, check back with me next year. I could have a totally different opinion.
With all the different agents that are out there doing this, being authentic, I would think is important.
It is for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think I think that most people that are out there are, if you're going to do a video that's 10 minutes long or so, you're going to, it would be hard to not be pretty authentic, I think.
True. True. Is there a type of person that you're attracting? Are there similarities in any of it that you can kind of start to aim towards?
It's a good question. So my avatar, who I'm mostly aiming at, is kind of people like me who are just looking to come somewhere new. I've gotten, as far as type of people, they've all been people I really like, which is nice, but it's also definitely regions that are hotter. So a lot of California, a lot of Florida, New England, people just looking for a new vibe or a new atmosphere, weather-wise, some politically. Yeah, so it varies a little bit, but the age range seems to be somewhere around my age, my place in life. Maybe their kids are a little bit younger or a little bit older, but somewhere around there.
Right. And are you targeting them, or is that just who naturally finds you?
Well, if I had to say who am I aiming for, probably those people, and as I get older, 10 years from now, should I still be making videos? Who knows? I might be looking more at targeting people who want to live in 55 and older communities. That might be 5 years from now, actually, or people who are downsizing. But right now it's still kind of those middle kids are somewhere in school still. And maybe they're upsizing to their next house, or kids are going to college and maybe they're downsizing to their next house. So it
And
kind of
that's
seems
probably what you just described is probably the avatar of what most people are moving here for anyway. So I'm not sure you'd want to shift
to
mode.
anything different.
Yeah. Why would you want to shift away from what's actually trending? And that's the population trend. That's where they're coming from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know. So you have no way of knowing which people don't like you. So I can't tell if there's a group of people that I'm specifically repelling. Are all the older people watching me and they're like, I don't like her, or younger people? I don't know. But it's been a really fun experience doing video.
expect this year, if you don't mind sharing.
Well, I'm hoping to double. So I'm hoping that from 5 to 10 and then, potentially exponential growth from there. I do think there's a challenge in that I think there's a group of video people who started just before or right around COVID. And
Yes.
they crushed it. I mean, brilliant. I probably had the idea I think 2018 or 2019 was one of my goals to do a video a week. I wish I had gotten a coach then and followed through with it then. So those people are crushing it. And I think for those of us who were after that, I think the climb is a little bit slower than it was for them. I could be wrong. That's just been my impression. But my hope would be to see it snowball. And one of my favorite things about it is the foundation it creates, because it's always, the videos are always being played. I have one video from 2019 that still gets played pretty frequently. But the foundation, that's what I was going to say. The foundation it creates, it's nice even for, like, I got a referral from an agent in California who just Googled agents here, actually reached out to a couple before me who didn't respond to her.
There you go.
And then reached out to me. And I'm like, well, why'd you pick me? She's like, well, I ended up finding your videos. And I'm like, okay. So it does more than just the people searching to move here or anything related to that. It's also when someone refers, just
Right.
like anyone who gets referred to you or anyone, right?
100%.
So then to see the presence that I have through YouTube, I think there's no real way for me to measure that. A few of them have told me, like, oh yeah, I Googled you and then I watched your videos, but they were already going to reach out to me anyway. So the video didn't make them reach out, but I think it reinforces a level of credibility when they can watch the videos.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned your old video being out there. I did my first video. I was doing a weekly update back in 2009 is my first one. And I left only that one on my YouTube channel. It just because it was hilarious that I did that. And I did it for a long time. For years, I would do a weekly update on the market on Cape Cod. And back then, no one was really out there. So, and I would continually doing my properties out there. So your point of leaving that original one out there is so smart, because it has gravitas. People are going to keep seeing it, and they're going to find you. And for years after I stopped selling, I would get leads from I did a lot of lakefront sales on Cape Cod, and I had a bunch of videos out there, and people would just occasionally, just out of nowhere, find that video and give me a buzz. So doing that, keeping that stuff out there is smart, even if it's different than what you're doing now.
Yeah, and it's all very humbling. I mean, I don't know anyone who's like, "Oh my god, I look amazing on video." It's fine, it is what it is, but that's not like we have hair and makeup for YouTubers, real estate YouTubers, so you're not, if you're out and about doing it, you're not in a controlled environment. So there is a level of, it definitely keeps me humble watching those videos.
So how are people reaching out to you? You mentioned you picked up the phone, you answered the phone, which is fantastic. You're ahead of many agents by doing that, as you just mentioned. 2 out of 3 didn't. So good for you. Is that the typical how these clients are calling? Are they calling you? Are they direct messaging you? Are they looking for you on YouTube? How do they get to you?
So mostly through my Calendly link on my website, which has been really awesome. Like, it's so nice to see, like, oh, somebody scheduled a call. And then I immediately respond to them myself, because, there's all the automation, and I don't know if me from the other side of that, I'm like, is there anybody even there?
Right.
So I immediately will respond with some personal stuff and like, hey, this is really me, blah, blah, blah. The other question I get a lot is, if I work with you, am I going to actually work with you?
Yeah.
And I know that different agents do it differently, and there's not a right or wrong way. I can imagine, I'm not at the place where I'm referring all that business out. I'm working with each of these people, unless they're just not within an area that I cover, then I will refer them out. But
Well,
getting to the point where you can refer them to someone else, I don't know how to do that yet.
when you start getting this exponential growth, you're going to run into that. And I'm sure your coach who's doing 2 million in production isn't working with every single person that's coming through.
He's hardly, so he had I like his technique, and that is, he has people on his channel make their own videos for different, whether it's a different demographic or a different location. And that's what, long term, that's what I would like to bring people on who are interested in creating video and hopping on my channel with me and creating kind of their own channel within my channel. Since I've already got some viewership and I have a coach that they could use, if I could find an agent who was interested, they've got to really want to do video.
Yeah.
But an agent who wants to do video and doesn't want to start from scratch,
Right.
who wants to cover any of the areas of Raleigh that I really don't cover. Like, I really am Apex, Cary, Holly Springs, Fuquay Varina, a little bit of Willow Springs or Willow Spring, do anything outside of that. So if there were agents out there who are like, oh, I love Wendell and I love Nightdale and I love North Raleigh and Wake Forest, and they wanted to do video, long term, that would be my goal, to bring them on with me, and we would do that together.
Now, would they be part of your team or just on your channel?
I think part of my team, but I'm open to other ideas. It's always just been me, or just me and an assistant. So I'm open.
Let's get off YouTube for a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe for this conversation. What gets you up in the morning? What's driving you to do this?
I mean, everyone has their big why, right? And for years, mine was the kids. I mean, when I left my marriage, not to get too deep and serious on you, but there were some people who were like, you'll never be able to make it with two little kids and yourself. And so my big why was like, okay, watch me. And that drove me. And I wanted to be able to support my kids and
Sure.
that without getting into the dirt or the nitty gritty on that stuff, that was my big why. But that has shifted. My kids are now seniors in high school. They're about to do the next thing. They don't need me in the same way. I don't even know where they are right now. So my big why is now, financial freedom, like so many of us. I'm getting to the point in my life where within the next 10 years, I'd like to be, I don't know if I'll retire from real estate. I really do love this business, but I can imagine just mentally having the freedom of like, I can do it if I want to do it or not
Right.
do it if I don't want to do it.
Optional.
Exactly. 'Cause I'm a morning person. I'm very routine in the morning. I have always been a routine person. So getting into real estate, that was my biggest challenge is every day is kind of different. So the way that I combat that is I have a pretty strict morning routine every morning.
Good.
And I actually enjoy getting out of bed. So it's what keeps me up at night, which is like 9 o'clock, forget it. It's over.
Oh, no. Yeah, good. Heather, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experiences.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate you having me on.
If somebody's thinking about doing it, what would you tell them?
Go for it. Actually reach out. I'd be happy to have a real honest conversation with anybody about the pros and cons of doing video. I'm happy to share my coach's information. Anything I can do to help, happy to do that. And maybe you want to team up and we can talk about that too.
There you go. Heather's name, follow her there, is on this
Yeah,
somewhere.
Heather Taylor, Tailored
Yeah.
Realty Group.
Wherever it's going to be. I don't know. If you like the show, please subscribe and stay tuned for the next show.
Oh yeah, let me say what my YouTube channel is real quick.
Good idea.
Live in Raleigh, NC. So if you just go to YouTube, Live in Raleigh, NC.
Live
Tailored
in
Realty
Raleigh.
Group. Yep.
Okay, I'll put that link in here too.
Thanks, Joe.
All right. You guys have fun.
Thank you. Bye-bye.